Beginning with our build-up to the district-level elections, some urban dwellers this afternoon citing the non-performance of district heads as the reason for which there's continuous apathy in the district-level elections, especially in urban areas. The Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Dan Botwe, had raised concerns about the low level of participation in the urbanized and affluent communities as well at cantonments here in Accra. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba has been engaging some of the eligible voters who argue that Assembly and Unit Committee members often patronize the title over their actual responsibilities.
Experts have raised concerns about the disinterest in district-level elections. They have said that to generate excitement in the elections, political parties should be made to participate. Well, the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Dan Botwe, has expressed similar concerns. He says the historical disinterest in district-level elections is more prevalent in urbanized communities. Some persons and residents who've been engaging here in the urban areas have cited non-performance as the reason. They say Assembly and Unit Committee members are more interested in the titles they carry rather than going on the ground and doing the work. They tell us that that has contributed to the disinterest that we have witnessed mostly in urban areas. Here are some of those we've been speaking to.
Amwa Emmanuel. One of the factors is that the assemblymen are not helping us. They are not doing what the electoral area or what is supposed to be done. If you go to my area, for instance, at least we don't have enough refuse bins, and the assemblymen are doing nothing about it. And in my area, we have a lot of laggards. But when you go into details, these assemblymen are also helping them, and it is not helping us. So we are begging them, if they want us to vote, then they should perform their duties as assemblymen in our electoral area. Because since they are with us, they know our problem. They are with us. The MPs are not usually found in their areas because of their work in the Parliament House. So it's the assembly members who can also send our problems and our grievances to them. I think that will solve the problem for us.
People don't have too much trust with the assembly members. They are not up in doing. When you call them for some job, they are reluctant to come. But when it's time for them to vote for them, you see them rally around looking for people to go and vote. But after voting, they just go and relax. But it looks like they don't get any paid or any allowances to work with. So they work on their own, and that's a little bit difficult. That's what causes all this. They have to restructure all these things to make it a viable one. It's like haphazardly, so it's not working. If they want it to work, they should restructure it again.
My name is Richard Afrifa. I think that over time, it's getting better. It also has to do with maybe the caliber of people who put themselves out to be voted for. Some time ago, you realize that you wouldn't see, or you didn't see well-educated people in some places, but now it's changing. But in the places that you see that this is changing, you know, people are not really into working. People like the politics aspect of it rather than contributing their quota to national development. There are people who have passion to, you know, like work and then kind of achieve results. But you realize that in Ghana it's not the same. People are really into the money aspect, the little money they will get, rather than bringing kind of satisfaction to the people or achieving results. So if we begin to have people, serious-minded people, taking up positions and doing excellent jobs, I think that is going to improve the lot of the people. That's what I think.
My name is Ebenezer Badu.
What do you think comes for the apathy in the district?
Elections. Okay. I think most of the assemblymen, those who want to stand for the assembly, most of them like to have their name to be called honorables. But what they are supposed to do, they are not been doing. It's good to have assemblymen in the area because they are in the area and they know what is going on in what the area needs. So I think they are not doing their work well. Yes, they are not doing their work well, and they lack the push to be called honorable. Yeah, that's what I can say about it. Yes, but what? Yes, but what about you are supposed to sweep here, and you are not doing it? What will happen? The place will be dirty, obviously, and it will bring some diseases for the people at that around.
Okay, so what I can say is that I think most of people are not getting the benefits out of this assembly election and that stuff. And the assemblymen, maybe when voted for, to my perspective, I think that what they have to do for the people, they are not doing it. So it's more or less they after their personal interest. Sometimes you go around what they're supposed to do. The people who are at the top are now saying that they are supposed to do toilets and those things, which we all know that these are the work of assemblymen and some kind of electrification, street lights and other stuff. So people, they are not doing that because of money. They will go into assembly and get the money and they sit back. So I think people are not getting what they have to get from them. So that is why they don't want to participate in it. Yes, that's my.
And we stay on the district level elections because in the Ashanti region, where the Asokwa Municipal Director of the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, Nathaniel Chiniba-Kodia, is optimistic that the upcoming district level elections will record high voter turnout, mainly because of the interest of constituents to vote against the underperforming assembly members.
I'm even hoping that it will even cross 50%. Because, as I said, we done a lot of engagement. They expressed willingness to vote this time to, show their Kokromoti power to the leadership. Because some of them, they said, because the promises that the assemblyman made, he wasn't able to fulfill it, so they want a new face. For that matter, they will vote whatever means possible. They will use it and vote, and then maybe have a new face. So let's say this time around is better than the previous.
Based on what are you saying? I've been saying this.
Based on the interest of the public. Because I remember 2019, we can move to a church and you finish and you see people lining up for questions and they say, they won't vote. They won't vote because they haven't seen any development in their community. They won't vote because the promises that the assembly member made, they haven't fulfilled it and all that. But this time around, you go to a community, I think they've understood the concept of our democracy. So you go to a community and you do the education, they say, fine, the assembly member couldn't fulfill his or her promises, but they will vote and then change the assembly.
And 29-year-old Zainab Al-Hassan is seeking to make history as the first lady to ever contest the district-level elections in the Kokoti electoral area in the Ashanti region, competing against 3 other men. She hopes on improving the current state of the market in the area and helping to curtail teenage pregnancies in the community. Anita Sawa-Jogan puts a spotlight on female participation in local governance ahead of the upcoming district-level elections.
2012, there were 29 representing 11% females and 246 representing 89% males among the 275 members of parliament. After the 2016 general elections, Ghana's parliament recorded 35 representing 13% female MPs and 240 representing 87% male MPs out of the 275 members of parliament, while the 2020 general elections recorded 40 female MPs representing 14.5% and 235 representing 85.4% male MPs. The situation at the local assembly level is even worse, signifying a decline. Zainab Al-Hassan reviews some of the challenges she has faced when she decided to contest the district level election.
I would say it was a mixed reaction. And so a lot of people are happy that I came up. Then there's the other side. Of course, you can't aspire for any political position and not expect the other side to come at you. We've had people tell me that, oh, you're a woman, go and concentrate on marriage. You're a woman, do this. People actually came to my father to tell him to ask me to step down. They came several times, and I believe it's because they think I am a woman. Because we have 4 other men contesting. Why are you not asking them to step down, but you're asking me to step down?
Teenage pregnancy and poor sanitation at the Kokote electoral area have been major challenges in the area. Zainab wants to lead a crusade to tackle the menace if elected as assembly member.
I believe as someone who have gone to school, someone who knows a little bit about the going in and out of the assembly and everything, I will be the best person to lead my people to get the things that we deserve as Ghanaians. Currently, I work as a research assistant at the Parliament of Ghana. And being at the Parliament, I have seen the things that are handed to MPs to be moved to their various constituencies, to be given to various assemblies in the constituencies. And so seeing all this, it tells me that a lot of things are going on in the country that the citizenry must benefit from. Opoku market is one of the biggest markets we find here. But the market is so dirty, the market is so deprived of a lot of basic things that a thriving market should have. We don't even have security men to protect the market. And the only reason why we are taking it as it is because there's no one who stood up and spoken against it. And so I believe that if I'm given the opportunity to become the assembly member, these are some of the things that I will look into to ensure that those who are being paid to do their job, they actually do the job that they are being paid to do.
Although the district level election is non-partisan, some assembly members at Kokote in the Ofinso Municipality Assembly are politicizing the polls. This adversely affects aspirants who are not affiliated to any political party.
I am here for them. I am here for the people of Kokote. I'm not here based on any political party. I'm not representing any political party. Although even in assembly elections, it's not even supposed to be partisan. But at this point in our lives as Ghanaians, we've turned assembly elections into partisan politics, which is not supposed to be so. But I am not here for any political party. I am not here for my individual interest. I am here because of the community that I grew up in, that I love and cherish so much. And I believe there's a lot that I can lead to do for my community.
The Alliance for Women in Media is, however, encouraging the electorate to vote for more women in the district level elections slated for 19 December to promote inclusion at all levels. For Joy News, Anita Sewajoge's report read to you.
And of course, John News has been interacting with some more members of, aspiring members of the local assemblies across the country. We start off with this one again from Christiana Abochi, who's been interacting with some of the aspirants.
Do you know your assemblyman?
No, please, I don't know.
Yeah, minimum assemblyman.
Yes, I know my assemblyman.
No, I don't know my assemblyman.
No, I don't know my assemblyman.
No, I don't know. I haven't seen it before.
With the 2024 elections coming up, amidst the spotlight on presidential elections, there exists a pivotal but often overlooked part of our democracy, the local government elections. Over the years, fewer and fewer Ghanaians tend to pay attention to these elections only in the immediate run-up to the polls, and these Ghanaians are only in the rural areas. A few days ago, Minister for Local Government, Honorable Dan Boche, underscored in Parliament that over 6,000 local leaders will be elected into district assemblies.
I entreat my honorable members of Parliament in this August House to whip up enthusiasm of the electorate to turn out on Tuesday, 19 December 2023, and vote massively for the representatives to their respective district assemblies and unit committees. Right Honorable Speaker, decentralization has brought government closer to the people than it had ever been in almost 3 decades.
We are simply looking for insights on the roles of these assembly members, if they're living up to their expectations, and generally how we feel about them, because each one of us belongs to an assembly, and these local leaders, paid by our government taxes, have a crucial role to the development of our community. And the question I'm saying is simple. Assemblyman.
Oh, that be my assemblyman.
No, I don't know my assemblyman.
When I talk about assembly elections, Nimuda.
Even when you vote for these leaders, they do not do anything in the community. I don't see the reason I should waste my time to vote for them. It's always a repetition. You vote one into power, and they don't do anything until the next elections, and the next person is voted into power. There really is no use in voting for them. I have noticed that if you vote for any leader in this country, you are simply giving them opportunity to enrich themselves and their families. That is why I'm not interested in voting for anyone.
I him say you do right no responsibility say we elect Obi for local government. I also be represented. If something is going on in your community that is not good or needs the attention of government, that is the person who is supposed to go and represent and talk about your grievances. How do we make sure say going forward the right thing is done?
I'm not only person I can vote to the.
I am not the only person who needs to vote for them to work. If I don't, someone else will, and if they win, they will do what they have to do.
See me, and you have win. So what you're supposed to do, you have to do it.
Well, from this little disco, it is clear that the disconnect between the election of these local leaders into assembly and district and the roles and responsibilities that they're supposed to be fulfilling is one clear reason why there's a declining voter participation in the local election.
And thanks for staying with us here on the Pulse on the Joy News channel. We're taking a break. When we return, we'll speak to some more aspirants in this upcoming district level elections. Please stay. Staying with us here on the Pulse, we're still exploring the concerns of some of the aspiring members of the local assemblies as they head in for that election on December 19. Joining us now is Caleb Boachi. He is one of the candidates going into the elections in the that's Mantrobu area, of course, electoral area, and it's good to be talking to you now and having you join us in studio. First of all, let me take your thoughts on this trend we've seen over the years. Why there seems to be apathy, a lot of people not concerned about local level elections, and why we need more and more participation. What do you feel is accounting for this challenge, where people are simply not interested in what's happening?
Thank you so much, Blessed. It's really an honor to be here. I've watched you a couple of times, and I think you're one of the best delivery and everything. Thank you so much. Yes, now to your question, the reason there seems to be apathy it boils down to the whole lack of partisanship that's absent in this whole thing. I mean, a couple of years back, the party, I think the MPP government tried to get this whole thing to be political, and then, because once it's political, it raises the interest, and then the kind of investments that goes into it. It goes a long way to even give us better platforms, because if it were partisan, political parties wouldn't be free to support their people, and then we get better support and develop better, because in the end, we are the ones going to take over from them, and if we are not getting the best help at the moment, due to the lack of political participation, it turns out...
But it's often a controversy when you say, well, we need political party participation even at the local level, because some say that that's not the spirit of the Constitution. It will be a challenge if you bring in political parties now, they will still, in fact, they will just end up making everything partisan at the local level. Don't you feel that maybe we should be exploring other means instead of inviting these political parties to be a part of it?
I am actually quite 100% certain that it's only a matter of time.
Right.
It's only a matter of time. If you observe what happened at the level of parliament, both parties seem to be on the same page.
Right.
But along the line, people are doing their political calculations and realize that if they ditch it, it's going to be in their favor.
Right.
So it's just a matter of time. It's not even a question of whether it will be done or not. It's just a matter of time. And I don't think it's going to, so what are we saying? If we say that if we bring partisanship to the lower level, whatever is going to cost, the harm is going to cost, why is it not costing it up there in the presidential and the parliamentary level?
But you know, the point about, you know, the challenges you face as aspirants has come up really strongly. And I'm sure that will be part of the challenge you face in the Chobo electoral area. This issue about funding and how, you know, the assembly member is able to carry out developmental projects. What kind of promises have you been giving to the people you've been asking to vote for you? I'm just wondering, because if you make too much promises and you don't get the funding to do it, it might be a challenge for you. What kind of promises are you telling the people?
A couple of them, though. You know, for Chobo, for instance, I have a very good relationship with the business community there, and there are a number of good businesses there, garage people, hospitals, and they are well-meaning people who are ready to contribute sort of their corporate social responsibility to help in the local level development. So I have good relationship with them. I've gone to see them, and it's not something that you can bind on them, but through moral suasion, you can get them to chip in here and there. So I've actually organized a quarterly sanitation and sports festival.
Okay.
You know, the idea is to bring sports to sort of draw the youth, and then we use the sanitation that the community needs. So we do the sanitation in the morning, and then later in the evening we organize the sports, and then it gets them. So we clean. It's a quarterly.
I see. So you are not interested in going to say, I'll build you this, I'll build you that, I'll get your road done. No, I mean, that would be because your opponents might be doing that, and that would be a challenge. But you know, it just brings up the question as to funding for, you know, assembly members and how they can go about doing their duties. I had one of your, you know, counterparts in one of the areas saying, let's try and, you know, replicate what happens to the MPs, for instance, because they have some level of common fund that they use at the district assembly level. You're the real members of the assembly at the local level. So let's try and decentralize some more and give funding to the assembly members. How crucial would that be in changing, you know, the duties of an assembly member?
It will be key. I mean, it still boils down to the decentralization, proper decentralization. Because all this, if decentralization was really working, these questions will not be coming up.
Right.
There will be things in place, specific duties and roles for assemblymen to play. But because I don't know if it's funding, and we've achieved decentralization on paper, but not in reality.
Right.
So there are a lot of gaps that, if we are allowing decentralization to work as at the forebears of our constitution envisaged, it will be great. So
yeah, I think everyone is looking forward to that. But now let's talk about the competition you face in your area. You're coming up against 3 or 2 individuals that will make all of you 3 now into the elections. What kind of a message are you preaching, and how do you feel you're being accepted or rated within the Chobo electoral area?
Actually, I think okay, so I've lived in Chobo since '93.
Okay.
I was a little boy when I came to Chobo, and it's practically my home.
Right.
All this. Apart from being in the university and coming back, I've lived in Chobo my whole life.
Right.
And I've already impacted a lot in the lives of the people of Chobo. I've taught for 10 years in the community. I have what I call Honorable Boache Helpline, where there is a number out there, and I have a standing team of teachers who are ready to give tuition to, doesn't matter where you are within the community.
Right.
So there's a whole procedure. We get you, once you call the number, we get consent from your parents, and then I look at where you are, how close it is to us, and then I get you someone who will help you. And you know, these kids have issues with their math, and yes. So we are doing a lot, actually. Aside that, too, with the sports and sanitation thing I mentioned about, we are also working on. It's a quarterly thing. That's something not yet to be done. We do it already. And then the conscientization is the key thing for me. You know, it comes to where we are all sitting down, as you're talking about waiting for funds.
Yes.
But I'm a person of initiative. I believe in certain things up and starting something. Once you start, you get people to help you. So the whole thing is, we really need to psych ourselves and understand that, listen, we cannot always be saying, what is government coming to do for us? We live there, government isn't there.
Right.
We have a gutter problem, we have this problem. If we come together, we can raise something small. And even if the government sees that we've been able to raise something and we're about to start, they too will be able to chip in. Once we start, because there is a gutter in Chobu that's been there for my whole life. Everybody's complaining about it. I'm like, if we say, let's say 4 years, my plan is that within this 4 years, we're going to start and getting all the businesses around. You buy us 1 bag of cement. If it takes the 4 years, if I'm able to achieve that one within the 4 years and I don't do any other thing, I think
your people will appreciate it.
Appreciate, because the flooding and everything, it's the kind of toll is taken on the people. So I'm talking about initiative where we don't sit and wait for government. What can we do as a people for ourselves?
And do you see that level of reception from your electoral area members? You know, because just as we were pointing out, and we played that tape a while ago, some people indicating that you take pride in the honorable title and not necessarily what you would be doing there. You just want to be called an honorable member of the local assembly.
I mean, nobody can deny the fact that being called honorable has some prestige to it, yes. But we cannot compare the glamour of ours to those above us.
I see.
It pales in comparison. Yeah. But the thing is, some of us, we believe that it's more of a calling, you understand, something we feel deeply, personally that we want to do. And this is just the beginning for some of us, you know. So if you don't do your work right here, I mean, you get stuck. So we're actually beholden to them. I am beholden to them, let me say. Yeah. So it's incumbent on me to do my work right so that wherever I want to get to, because they're the same ones who carry you to any other level. Yeah. So, and you spoke about the reception of our message.
Yes,
especially
exactly.
About getting them to
people to accept you.
You know, you just, this guy says what? We hold these truths to be self-evident. So while you are preaching it, what you are preaching should be self-evident. People should look at you and see that this person is saying this and he's living what he's saying, not just words. So the initiatives I'm talking about, I'm already doing it. Yeah. So they say that, oh, okay, if this guy was able to help us do this without external government help, then indeed what he's preaching is true. So it's getting down. Yeah.
Let's wrap up with this aspect: payment of salaries to, you know, assembly members. It's come up really strongly. I don't know what your take is on it. Do you feel that it's time for your members, those who are moving into the assembly, God willing, if you're of course elected, you then be a member of the local assembly? Would you want to see a day where all of these assembly members will be paid across the country?
That would be great. I mean, who wouldn't want to be paid? You understand? Yes. Yeah. But for me, it's not really about getting paid because all of us work already. Okay. So we have our work. But I mean, if it's money, I want to get money. But the focus should be on decentralizing, realizing real decentralization, so that there will be systems in place for us to bring the development that people want. That's the thing for me. Not really about how much anybody will give me. Systems. Let's actualize our decentralization.
I'm sure there are many people watching us in the Trouble area now. If there's a message to them, what would you like them to know ahead of the December 19 elections?
So on Tuesday, 19th of December, the people of Chobu are going to get a very rare opportunity, the clearest opportunity in any generation to make a change. The thing is, do you want Chobu to continue to be as it is, or you want to see change that you can touch, change that you can feel? And that is what Caleb Wachiba is presenting. I'm bringing change that you can touch, not just lip service. Understand? And it's not just me. It's going to be together because I cannot do it alone. Right. You know. So we come up with those initiatives. We sit down, jaw, and see. So this is change for you. I'm number one on the ballot. Look nowhere else. Caleb Wachiba, Honorable Wachi for Chobu electoral area.
Okay, Caleb, definitely Joy News will be there to see what the outcome of the election will be. But thank you so much for joining us. We stay on the district level elections because the Electoral Commission says that it is getting great responses towards the district level elections. Deputy Chairperson in charge of Corporate Services, Dr. Bosman Asari, is optimistic participation this time round will be 60%. and that will be happening coming Tuesday. He's been speaking to my colleague Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson.
Well, the district level election has been on the front burner this week, and we are here at the Electoral Commission to get a preview of what events or preparations are being done towards Tuesday's process. I'm here with the Deputy Director of Corporate Affairs at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, to fill us in on what they've been doing so far. Dr. Bosman Asari, we're grateful for your time here on Joy News, and we are thankful for giving us this opportunity. Well, what really has been your preparation so far towards the election next Tuesday?
Yeah, thank you very much. From the standpoint of the Electoral Commission, we are fully ready for the elections, both the District Assembly and the Unit Committee elections. All the measures we have to put in place as an election management body, we have done that. Currently, as we speak now, we are deploying our equipment, we are deploying our ballot papers, we are deploying almost all the essential materials that are required for us to have a very, very successful election. So from the standpoint of the Electoral Commission, we are fully ready. We are only urging the general public to be fully involved. There is a saying that all politics is local. So we expect that for District Assembly elections, being our local elections, our local kind of politics, all of us should be able to get involved so that we get everyone voting on that day, then we can have a very higher voter turnout compared to the previous one.
Well, it's interesting how conversation has come up about participation. There are fears or concerns about apathy. In fact, we've spoken to people, residents in these electoral areas who don't seem interested in the process. As a commission, what in your own way are you doing to whip up interest in the election?
I think for us, we have a mandate that is clearly defined in the Constitution. And it's very, very clear that we are in charge of organizing. But as an institution, which is also a major stakeholder as far as the development, the democracy of our country is concerned, we've gone out of our way, running several commercials, TV promos, radio broadcast advertising, telling Ghanaians that we have elections on December 19 from 7 a.m. To 5 p.m. at all our polling stations. And we are doing that on several TV stations. We are doing that on several radio stations. And individually, our officers in the districts are going to the churches, they are going to the mosques, they are going to the market centers, telling people about the district level election. So as an institution, we are very much committed. We know that if many people go out there and they vote, it inures to our benefit as an institution, because it will send a clear signal that many people are taking part in the democratic process. So we are going out of our way to ensure that everyone takes part. And this interview we are having this morning is a clear indication that we want many Ghanaians, as many as possible, to get the information that the district level elections are just imminent, just next week, so they should prepare themselves. We know there are many people who registered in their hometowns and they may be living outside the hometown. So we want the information to get to them so that they will be adequately prepared to go to these places to go and exercise the franchise.
Well, talking about the measures you've put in place too, but I want to know the response you're getting, because just yesterday we spoke to the local government minister, Dan Butcher, who is saying that they anticipate over 50% participation. In your own way, I mean, what has been the response since your education? I mean, what you just spoke about, has the response been positive?
No, I think from our perspective, the response has been very, very positive, largely because, you know, in 2019, we had almost about 38% turnout nationally. But this time, based on the feedback we are getting from the commercials we are running, and you know, we have this thing we do, which is in the law called platform mounting, right, where those who are contesting as assembly members will go from one community to another community to engage in debates and tell people about their manifestos, what they intend doing for their electoral areas. And the information coming to us is that the enthusiasm level is very, very high. People are participating in their numbers. So we are also looking at something between 50 to 60%. Wow. And as a commission, we think that many Ghanaians are interested in the process, and the measures we've also put in place should be able to ensure that people come out in their numbers.
You're that confident, because the concern is also that mostly people in the urban areas hardly participate in these elections. Well, from the rural communities, you get many people who actually have a close relationship with these assembly aspirants or candidates. But in the urban centers, how confident are you that they will partake in this exercise?
No, I think the data is very, very clear that in the urban centers, especially regions like Greater Accra and Accra proper, and you look at Ashanti region, Kumasi proper, usually the turnout has been very, very low in these two places, and other major cities like Cape Coast, Takoradi, Sunyani, etc. But this year, we based on what the work we are doing, and what the assembly members themselves are moving around, telling people about their programs, their manifestos, what they intend to do in their various communities. We get the feeling that the urban center numbers will increase. That may not still compare to what will happen in rural regions and rural communities, but we expect to do better than what we did in 2019. And I think for those of us who are in the urban centers too, we need to be encouraged, because this is our local governance system, and if you live in a locality, the onus is on you to be able to take part in decision making at that particular level. And we run an indirect democracy system, a representative kind of democracy, where all of us cannot be in the assemblies and make decisions. What we are saying is that we are entrusting decision making into the hands of some individuals. So if you live in an urban center, you need to be interested in the decisions being made by your district assembly. So why not take part in electing somebody who can go to the district level and make decisions? You can even have a meeting with these individuals and tell them these are some of the challenges we are facing in our communities. I started by saying that there's a saying that all politics is local, and we need to get our local politics right. We need to ensure that we elect right women, right men to go and represent us in the assemblies, to constitute the unit committees. And once we have that, maybe some of these developmental challenges we are talking about in our districts, if we can get the assembly concept right, a number of these problems will minimize.
Well, do you also share the view that lack of political influence is what is causing apathy in this election? And would you ascribe to the fact that if political influence is involved in the process, it will whip up interest in this election?
Well, I think, the law is very clear that political parties are not supposed to have candidates in the district assembly elections. So until the law changes, I don't think we want to talk about that. Nevertheless, we have credible evidence indicating that in some parts of our country, the parties are actively involved to the extent that they even meet and determine who will represent, so that they wouldn't have situations whereby two people from the same political party will do hear of this information. So I don't think it would be right to conclude that the parties are not in any way involved at all. I don't think we can conclude. However, I think as a country we need to discuss it. Well, we've had this concept, remember, somewhere in the 1980s. This assembly concept predates our current presidential parliamentary election. It's been there for a while. So if we do the review and we are not getting the results, maybe we may have to go back to the drawing board and see what can we do to whip up the enthusiasm. Maybe the assemblies are not delivering. That's why people are not showing so much concern why they should take part.
Which is a very key concern, because if the assembly is not delivering, especially in urban areas where I'm okay with my business, I'm doing well, living, why do I need an assembly member or, waste my time, go and stand in a queue and vote?
So maybe if we get involved properly, maybe our businesses will even improve, or they will do better than they are doing now. So I made an earlier point, let's all be committed to it, because we spend so much money on sanitation, on a whole lot of things. If we get our assembly concept right, a number of these challenges, as I said, will minimize. And those of us who are in the urban centers, again, in terms of education, we have the education. In terms of enlightenment, we are more enlightened. In terms of understanding, we understand. So maybe it's high time we got involved in the assembly concept, and let's be interested in those who are going to represent us at the various levels, the unit committee, the assembly, and let's see how we can take advantage of their presence to improve upon security in our communities. education outcomes and etc.
Right.
So I think that enjoy you have a role to play. You are a leading media organization in the country. Maybe the few days before we have this election, devote some time, talk about it, and even demand that all the workers of Joy must take part in the assembly, and maybe start
Which
asking them.
we're already doing. In fact, this whole week we've been on the district level elections, speaking to the minister and other stakeholders who are also interested in this. But let's come to the logistics. How many of your officials are out there, have the papers or the statistics you need to ensure a transparent election? Has it already gone out? What's the status?
No, our processes are such that we work with some timelines. Currently, the items that must be at the district level, they are all there. We still have some few items that must go. But per our work plan, we anticipate that by the end of this week, every district should have everything they need to be able to. Training of the officials who are going to be doing the elections, the trainings have started. We've done the national training, we've done the regional one. Currently, as we speak now, we have started training at the district level. And in all, we are going to have about 38,315 polling stations. All the districts are taking part in this exercise with the exception of Nkranza North and Nkranza South.
Exactly.
Or they had their elections in 2021. So they will have their next election in 2025. So apart from that, all the polling stations, we are having the election. So we are just telling every Ghanaian who is a registered voter, just go to your electoral area. If you don't know the candidates, as we speak now, they have their posters scattered in the various electoral areas, and we have individuals there who are in charge of, we call them returning officers special duties, who are in charge of the elections at the various electoral areas. And we are also running commercials to tell people to go out there and vote. So from our perspective, we are fully ready. All logistics are set. So come Tuesday, beginning from 7 a.m., we do expect that anyone who avail him or herself at the polling station will have the opportunity to vote for his or her assembly member and unit committee members.
Well, you bring up the issue of Nkranza, and my mind goes to some areas where there have been some conflicts and whatnot. In these areas, when or how will these people partake in these elections? Will there be other areas you set up for these people to go and vote?
Currently, we because of we are not experts when it comes to security. We work with the Ghana Police Service under the Election Security Task Force. And as we speak now, we haven't received information to the effect that we cannot have elections in the OT area. No information like that has come out, and the police has given us the assurance that as far as security is concerned, they are going to ensure. So until they tell us otherwise, we are very much convinced that come Tuesday, all the 38,315 polling stations are going to have their elections.
Including conflict areas?
Including conflict areas, because we've never had any information to the contrary. Right. If we hear the information, let's say Opoku, during the registration, we couldn't have the registration during some days in the Opoku municipality. We got the information that it wasn't, the conditions will not be good for us, so we didn't go ahead. So if we hear anything or we receive any credible information to that effect, we are going to advise ourselves accordingly.
Well, let's talk about transparency. I mean, your core values: transparency, fairness, integrity. How are ensuring that the elections will be free and fair?
No, I think the Electoral Commission has the track record when it comes to ensuring credibility, transparency, and we are ranked in our sub-region. We are ranked as #1, and African-wide we are used as a case study for many countries. So in terms of our transparency, our fairness, openness, accountability, credibility, I don't think all the players have confidence in us, and they know the EC will do a very, very quality work.
Well, what about security? What's the logistics with the Ghana Police Service in ensuring that this election goes well?
I think we are not the expert. We've engaged them, and they've given us the assurance all the polling stations are going to have security presence. And in the scheme of the police, they have places they call them flash points, and based on previous elections, they are able to identify places that will require more security personnel in that manner. So as far as security is concerned, we are convinced, and we have the track record of excellence when it comes to ensuring effective organization of elections, ensuring that security are present in all the centers. So we have the assurance from the IGP and his men that they are going to do whatever is necessary, whatever is proper to have a very smooth and successful election. I know this election is close to the Christmas time.
Exactly.
So all of us want to have a very peaceful exercise so that we can take the break and prepare. You know, we have another major activity next year. So we want to have enough time to rest, then come back strong, fully persuaded to ensure a very successful 2024 exercise.
So what will be special about this election? Really talk about technology that will put this election at the forefront. What is the Electoral Commission doing differently?
No, I think what we've done so far is that as a commission, I made a point that we have a mandate. Our mandate is purely to organize elections, show people how to vote. Why people should vote is not really so much our business. That's the business of other agencies. But this year, recognizing that we are all of us are players in the system, the commission has been very, very aggressive with our advertisement. It's like almost about 150 TV and radio stations everywhere in the country. We are there just to ensure that people go out there and exercise the franchise. And even beyond that, we've taxed our officials. We have about 268 officers in all the districts of our country, and we've told them, make sure every opportunity you get on a radio station, at the market center, the churches, the mosques, go out there and tell people that the district assembly elections are just underway come next week. Make sure you go out there and exercise the franchise. Take time. We are mounting the platform where the candidates will be there to present their manifestos to the citizens. Make sure you take part and know your assembly members. They are going out of their way telling them that the assembly concept is the bedrock of our development. Let's go out there, let's elect people who will assist us. All of us will work together. We can even fix our street lights, and some communities can even come together to have programs to transform education in their communities, etc. So I think we, as an institution, we are doing a lot in that regard. So we expect this to be complemented by other organizations.
Now, let's deal with the post-election matters. Are there any measures put in place to ensure that when the issues of conflict, mismanagement, or misunderstandings come up, you have the issues put in place, measures put in place to address them?
You know, one of the key things in these elections, is that, you know, the assembly members, the results are declared at the electoral areas.
Yes.
So when you look at it critically, we are running almost about 12,000 different elections. For every electoral area, the candidates are different.
Okay.
So once the results are declared at the electoral area, then it's final. Once the results are declared at the electoral area, it's final. Some places too, it's possible we are going to have what we call, they are going to tie, especially the unit committee.
Right.
When that happens, we are going to have another day for elections to break the ties. Because the unit committee, each electoral area, you are electing 5 people. So assuming the 5th and the 6th persons, they get the same votes, we have to run another elections for them. So that's the procedure. But apart from that, once we declare the results and there is anything which is not clear, then those who have the issues, they may have to resort to going to court to be able to address that.
If they have grievances, it should be done, or it should be
done
before the elections are declared.
You know, I mentioned we have a deputy returning officer called Deputy Returning Officer Special Duties.
Right.
In charge of every electoral area. And the electoral areas are almost 6,200. 272, but because in Kranza North and South are not part, you take the electoral areas from those places out.
Right.
So we have officers in charge of these elections in each electoral area.
All right.
So before the results are declared, if there are grievances, you can share with these officers once they are convinced that it must be investigated. But if not and the results are declared, then the process has come to an end.
Well, so far, has there been any issues of misinformation communication about the process?
Well, so far, I think we've not had that. You know, in 2020 election, we had a lot of, I think what the media people call misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. What do you call it? No, I have my own understanding.
Okay.
Maybe that one will be for a different or another platform. But for this district assembly, we've not had that. And I think maybe the reason why people don't want it to be partisan is people see it as more of a patriotic exercise. Let's go out there. And we hear people, many organizations are going out of their way, telling people why they should take part in the assembly election. So far, the information out there is good. But we do anticipate that in the last few days ahead of the elections, let's all of us be deeply involved. Let's tell people, those of us who go to church, our pastors should tell their members, go out there to go and elect your assembly members and unit committee, the mosques, those who go on Friday. Let all of us be deeply involved, and we need to get the assembly concept right.
And this afternoon, over 200 illegal miners have been arrested and 24 persons prosecuted as the Forestry Commission steps up a fight against illegal mining. We know that the Rapid Response Unit of the Forestry Commission at Jovoso arrested 10 persons, including 4 Chinese nationals and 2 police officers, Detective Sergeant Yahya Andrews and Lance Corporal Azantilo, for engaging in illegal mining. We'll be speaking more about this shortly. My colleague Erastus Saridonko will be joining us shortly. But first, let's get more from the Forestry Commission. Joyce Ofori-Kwafo is Head of Corporate Affairs and Media Relations joining us. You say that you've arrested 218 illegal miners so far. How many have been prosecuted as we speak?
Good afternoon, Blessed. I hope you are fine. Yes, thank you for having me on this show. From January to today, as I speak with you, we've been able to arrest 218, and out of that, 24 persons have been successfully prosecuted and handed over their various sentences and fines. The rest of the cases are pending in the various courts across the nation. And as soon as it comes to an end, we will let you know the outcomes. But we strongly believe in the judicial system.
We seem to be having a challenge there. We'll definitely reconnect and, of course, get you some more updates on that. I will also, with the Eco-Conscious Citizens Ghana, thank you for spending some time with us. The point about, the latest arrest we're hearing of, how is this coming to you as Eco-Conscious Citizens?
The question wasn't clear. The sound is a bit low. Could you repeat the question?
Yes, how are you receiving this, latest reports that we're getting through from the Forestry Commission?
Well, I mean, it's a good thing if those involved in illegal mining are being apprehended. So that can only be a good thing. So it's, I would say, to be positive news.
And let's get a bit of an update once more. Apologies there, we lost, the connection to the Forestry Commission. I was asking earlier about, the arrest you've made, the prosecution. You said you update us on that, but it goes to the heart of, the question about how you're protecting the forest as well. What more has been done in terms of reform?
We are doing a lot to protect our forests. First, we have our Rapid Response Unit. I'll call it the armed wing of the Forestry Commission, and these are men and women who have undergone training at the Esuchari military camp. And they've been given guns, to also protect themselves and to protect the forest as well. Now, we also have our frontline staff who have been trained as prosecutors to help with prosecution when we report these cases to the police. With some of the cases, we will be in the best position to explain to them how this thing happened and how, this thing is and all those kind of things. So we have trained our own prosecutors. We also have a legal department, a whole legal department in the Forestry Commission who handles such cases when it becomes very tough for some of us. We have good relationship with the judiciary and then the police so that they help us with the prosecution of forest offenders. We are doing a lot. Now we also have a system called the Community Resource Management Areas, a mechanism which has been approved by the government to bring the community members attention to the fact that they can also benefit from the forest so they don't go into illegalities. But there are a lot more that we are doing to protect the forest. And as usual, we carry out our awareness creation and sensitization programs just to tell the people that what we are doing now, we are harming our own selves. Now, what we know is that when years ago, when two countries are fighting, the first thing one of them will do is to poison the water body or the water source of the other. And as soon as they are able to do that, they will have their way through. But now what do we see? We are doing this to our own selves. We are killing our own selves.
Right.
In fact, we have sold our future. When you touch water, you basically touch everything in a country. So we are doing a lot to make sure that our forests are clean, our water bodies are clean, and we rid all the forest reserves of illegal operators.
Okay. Let's ramp up. What more should we expect the Forestry Commission to do in a bid to, push this campaign and to ensure sanity in our, forestry?
Well, I mean, they'll need, first of all, what they are doing, I'm sure that they themselves know that it may be a step in the right direction, but of course, more needs to be done because, as has been rightly said, we face an existential threat. Poisoning our water bodies, doing it ourselves is just unbelievable. But what we also need to do is to also prosecute those who we know have destroyed our forest reserves. We still don't know what is happening to the destruction that, for example, Akonta Mining is alleged to have done. Within Professor Frimpong Boateng's report, there are high flyers named as having been involved in legal mining in our forests. And I'm sure the Forestry Commission will also add its voice to having LI 2462 revoked, because I'm sure you would agree with me that it does not help to have mining in forest reserves, especially when they are globally significant biodiversity area. So yes, there's a step in the right direction, but we need obviously to redouble our efforts, because when the last tree dies, the last man dies. And there's absolutely no point in going to COP28 when we ourselves are actively destroying our forests. It's just unacceptable, and something needs to be done. I was concerned about the safety of the forestry officers, because we had reports of some having been shot by well-armed illegal miners. But since we're being told that they're well protected, then there's some comfort in that, because they are the ones putting their lives on the line when they are truly trying to do their job.
Any final words from the Forestry Commission to the people of Ghana?
I'll use this opportunity to appeal to all and sundry that the forests that are there, in as much as Forestry Commission has been named as the one protecting it, the benefits are being enjoyed by all. So let us all protect our forests. Let's say no to galamsey and illegal felling of trees in the forest. Let's say no to poaching. And as we are approaching the dry season, we should be careful of bushfires. And if we are able to protect our water bodies, we protect our lives. We protect these water bodies for posterity. And the country will be an enjoyable one for all of us. But if this continues, we also appeal to community members especially to give the Forestry Commission information about anything or anybody they suspect of being an illegal operator in the forest. They should kindly inform us and we will quickly take action. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that's Joyce. Joyce, thank you for spending some time with us, and also to you, Wulasa, joining the conversation on to Parliament, because the minority there is warning that there will be a significant hike in the cost of fish this festive period due to a myriad of factors, mainly the scarcity of premix fuel, contributing to the debate on the approval of the budget for the Fisheries Ministry. Minority spokesperson on Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku explained that the fisher folk have been struggling to access premix fuel over the last few months.
So for 2023, the Premier Secretariat targeted the supply of 107 million litres of premix fuel. Unfortunately, as at the end of September, the Secretariat is reporting that only 25 million has been discharged out of 107 million. Mr. Speaker, within the same period last year, the ministry was able to do 39 million. So you see that this year, the fishers are not getting the premix fuel. The only explanation the ministry gave was that suppliers are unwilling to supply the premix because of the forest losses. The vulnerability in the exchange rate leading to forest losses, as a result of which our farmers are not getting the premix fuel. So they are now buying from the market at the prevailing market prices. And that explains why fish prices are going up. Mr. Speaker, the food inflation we are witnessing is partly being driven by prices of fish in our country, because the fishers are not getting the subsidized premix fuel, even though they are ready to pay the little that they have to pay. And government is also ready to subsidize it. The exchange rate vulnerabilities is having a toll in all these sectors. And it's an issue that must be addressed urgently, especially now that we are moving into the Christmas festivities, where a lot of families will be consuming fish. The price of fish is likely to go up during the festivities because the demand will rise.
You know, Eric Opoku says the 2021 Best Fisherman has still not received his award of a two-bedroom house, and the Fisheries Ministry is now requesting additional funds from Parliament to construct the house.
Farmers' Day celebration. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important celebration that every Ghanaian must observe. Unfortunately, during the celebration, the best fish farmer is not given the award. In 2021, the best fish farmer was to be given two-bedroom house. The ceremony, which was attended by His Excellency the President and all the state apparatus, Mr. Speaker, it was all over the country that the best fish farmer was going to be given two-bedroom house. As we speak, the house has not been completed. And the ministry is now asking for 500,000 Ghana cedis, 500,000 Ghana cedis to be able to complete the building and then hand it over to the best fish farmer. Mr. Speaker, this is something that must not be told anywhere. We don't have to allow this to happen. Somebody has worked very hard to put food on our table. And as a nation, we want to recognize his contributions. We are saying that, look, we are giving you this as an award. We have told the whole world that we are giving the person two-bedroom house. 2021, we are now doing 2024 budget. And we are now looking for 50,000 to be able to complete the facility and hand over to the person.
Fisheries Minister Hal Kumsin explained that the delay in awarding the fisherman actually with the two-bedroom house was due to some investigations conducted into the award.
Mr. Speaker, you also made mention about the Best Farmers Award. The reason why we are not done with the building is he knows very well that there was an issue with that award winner. So we took almost 8 months to 1 year to do investigation to make sure that the fisher had no problem before we could allow the construction to go on. So if the ranking member is saying we are left with 500,000 Ghana cedi to complete, it means we have done the major part of the project, and I think it's left with about just some few touches to complete, and it will be given to the winner. And this year's winners, last year's winners award, had been given to them already.
And former President John Dramani Mahama sits back again at critics of the campaign promise of a 24-hour economy through the, though he actually admits that some institutions are already working around the clock, a future NDC government will make it easier for all to operate. He spoke at a meeting with some party executives in the Western North region as he begins a two-day Building Ghana tour to that part of the country.
I will say, my 24-hour economy, my printing, and t-shirt also. I know you're just one of your economic instruments. You perceive the Kenyan economy, no, na economy. Since I'm a cancer, I'm say, nipa bebre year no. I say, oh, na say 24-hour economy or hodada. Me perceive you perceive a year can home. And so I say, oh, a juma bakum you no be a 24-hour economy. Ya pese omu nyina ye bi na yetimi fa nipa ne ka ho enti filling station ba kon ya aden na ba kon so nye e bia security omu so say am robbers be ba go so eden na ban betimi aye ama omu nya akwanya se betimi anya asumja aye omu adwuma factory ba kon ye aden na factory mienu me sa aka no omu so omu nye bi say ye tax so ni ate etoni bi so say na be ya omu so betimi aye adwuma ni bi ebi electricity born na heading and I doing na that electricity no go hokwa.
Now, NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has revealed how pained he is about the conflict in Opoku that has claimed countless lives and also disrupted economic activities in the area. Opoku, one of Ghana's biggest commercial border towns in the Upper East region, has suffered instability due to a protracted decade of old tribal conflicts. But Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was addressing the overlord of the Kusago kingdom during his homecoming tour, passionately indicated that the loss of lives are needless and avoidable because they are all one people.
We cannot, however, be successful in our quest to eradicate poverty and bring development to our people in an atmosphere of conflict. We need peace for development. Ghana is a peaceful country. It is the most peaceful country in West Africa and the second most peaceful country in the whole of Africa. God willing, as president, I will maintain Ghana's status as a very peaceful nation. Your Majesty, as a son of the North, I am very pained by the conflict we have in Opoku between Kusasis and Mamprosis. This conflict has led to needless loss of lives and disrupted economic activity and development in Opoku. It is really sad. Fundamentally, we are really one people. We have intermarried over the years, and our languages are very similar. I believe with every bone in my body that it is possible to have peace and harmony between Kusasis and Mamprosis in Opoku. And you have tasked me to make sure that happens. And I will work towards that. We have to work towards it. It is possible.
Meanwhile, the Opoku chief says he has the firm belief that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will end the conflict. David Adoliba read a statement on his behalf.
I have a firm belief that if you become president, you will want to preside over a peaceful nation and a peaceful Kusak traditional area that will support your vision for development. It is my belief that you have what it takes to bring this conflict to an end to help save lives and property. I have keenly observed your progress in politics, and you have demonstrated humility, respect, calmness, unity, and genuine commitment to people, which are good traits for leadership. I therefore want to appeal to you to take all appropriate steps to bring peace to Boko. This is a task, and I am assigning you, and I have no doubt that you can and will successfully deliver this to the glory of Kusag and Mamprugu in particular, and Ghana as a whole.
And back here in the capital, road traffic crashes in the Ashanti region rose by some 24% in 2022. In efforts to reduce road crashes, especially during the festive season, tipper truck operators and other light vehicle drivers in Kumasi have been engaged in road safety precautionary practices. The workshop organized by the automobile company Zonda Tech Limited aims to reduce the rampant accidents in the region.
Data from the Ashanti Regional Office of the National Road Safety Authority indicates 350 fatalities have been recorded this year, as against 377 fatalities at the same time last year. Zonda Tech Ghana Limited, a heavy and light-duty automobile company, organized a road safety education for drivers to heighten road crash preventive practices. The second edition of the public awareness campaign engages motorists, pedestrians and the general public on safety measures to prevent road accidents. Human Resource Manager of Zondatech Ghana, Daniel Amwa, says the event forms part of the firm's corporate responsibility. He's admonishing drivers to seek proper and regular car servicing and maintenance.
Machines made in such a way that at a point in time it will need servicing. So we want all drivers to take their servicing seriously. Zondatech Ghana Limited, one of our core values is to place safety first. We want to reduce road accidents in Ghana, especially during this Christmas period. And checking the statistics from the National Road Safety Authority, you can see that the accident rate has reduced. And we believe we are part of the partners or the contributors to this great achievement in Ghana road safety.
The Ashanti Regional Director of the Road Safety Authority, Akwasi Ajenim Boateng, emphasized the need to comply with laid-out road regulations in curbing road accidents.
We're advising most of the drivers to be safety conscious. Let's say observing road traffic rules and regulations. Issues like fatigue driving, a lot of people will travel. So we will encourage most of the drivers to have adequate rest before they embark upon their journey. We have a checklist that they are to follow. So if you are to abide by all these rules and regulations, we will have a lot of minimum issue with the law with respect to road safety and also ensure our safety.
Ashanti Regional Manager for the Red Cross Society is entreating entities to prioritize first aid education.
If you are a driver, the most important thing you need to do is to learn first aid so that in case of any emergency, you can render first aid. If you don't know first aid, and there's an accident, you can't do anything about it. So as a community, as a country, we need to think of how to equip ourselves in first aid so that when there is any accident and casualties are involved, we need to go in there and render first aid.
Some beneficiaries said the education has been an eye-opener. Reporting for Joy News, Clint.
And the Ministry of Education is opening workshops of technical and vocational institutes for industry to maximize their commercial value. Deputy Minister in charge of TVET, Gloria Chimampofo, explains this will enhance practical knowledge of students and also improve efficiency of industry through the use of modern workshops in industries. She has been touring some of the TVET institutions in the Ashanti region as fresh students are being admitted. Nana Aljuma has more.
Through a foreign partnership, technical and vocational institutions in Ghana have taken delivery of modern tools and equipment to enhance teaching and learning. Aside from their use for practical lessons for students, these facilities are fit for industry. Deputy Minister for Education, Gifty Chum Ampofo, explains the training institutes are open for industry partnership in the commercial use of the workshops.
All these machines are industrial machines. They are not just for learning.
They are state-of-the-art TVET equipment, which are also industrial machines, to ensure that as we're using them in teaching, we can also use them to do commercial production. So with those interactions, we open up and you collaborate. The schools are setting up commercial centers that are some of the departments they can use to generate funds to maintain and support all these facilities. And also these private sector will come with, as I was saying, with their consumables. So as the heads of department, the industry owners, the students are working to produce these parts for the industries. The students are gaining competence.
Already, a body of skilled professionals has been set up by law to help in the development of curriculum for the institutions. The Deputy Minister explains the measures taken to deepen the relationship between technical institutions and industry.
The Commission for TVET is an agency which is bringing academia close to industry. As of now, we have set some bodies we call sector skill bodies. It is in the Act 1023. The sector skill bodies are bringing experts in various skilled areas, commercial skilled areas, into a body which continually interact with the CTVET to develop curricula which is useful for present generation and future, but not past generation.
The minister has been touring some technical institutions as part of efforts to improve technical education. Government has secured a loan facility of 5 million euros to construct a center of excellence for technical education at the Kumasi Technical Institute. Principal of KTI, Gabriel Kingsford Osei, speaks of the impact.
So we are trying to collaborate with the industries outside so that they can also bring their work into the institution for us to also do. Whilst we are doing that, it will serve as a training ground for the students and also raise or generate income for the institution for us to carry out our operations.
For Joy News, Nana Ojima, Kumasi.
And some senior high schools in the Ashanti and Bono East regions are missing out on practical experience in studying information communication technology. Students in 2 of such schools, in Nkranza SHS and also St. Jerome SHS, take turns to access a congested computer room and go through the curriculum with a single functioning laptop owned by their subject teacher. Clinton Yeboah reports on the frustration of hundreds of students seeking some help and also to grasp the theory and practical aspects of ICT.
St. Jerome Senior High School has a student population of over 2,500 taking ICT studies in a poorly ventilated room with few operational computers. The absence of suitable ICT labs hampers the ability of students to explore and experiment with the various computer literacy subjects and technologies covered in class.
The students will say they don't understand. And the teacher always bring laptop to the class, bring phone, write notes, but still we don't understand. So he always tells that we, those that have laptops, should bring so that we'll do group learning and learn. But still, we always find it difficult to learn, and we are not always happy with it. So because of that, they always say we fail in the ICT a lot. In my class, we fail a lot.
The circumstance is similar at Nkranza Senior High Technical School, where a limited number of outdated computers accompanied by exposed electrical wiring serve as the only means of ICT learning for over 3,000 students. Collins Yeboah is the headmaster of Nkranza Senior High School.
Previously, we had a few obsolete computers in this facility. But looking at the place, they have refurbished it, the security doors, everything is in place.
As an intervention, Hello World organization led by Evans Edusei Jr. has handed over fully furnished computer laboratories to Nkranza Senior High Technical School and St. Jerome Senior High School to boost digital studies. 30 new smart computers, a printer copy machine, and power supplies with improved internet connectivity have been installed in each of the schools. The physical environment of the labs has been overhauled with painted rooms, tiled floors, new fans and air conditioners, security doors and windows to improve learning and teaching. The gesture by Hello World organization aims to equip the underprivileged students with the skills and knowledge to navigate the challenges and opportunities of the current digital age. Founder and CEO of Hello World organization, Evans Adusei Jr., says the new development will bridge the gap in IT studies and foster growth of the local technology sector.
I see the changing landscape in technology. I've become very aware that we're now moving into a new phase in the technology space, which is artificial intelligence. And I believe that Ghanaians can harness the education into artificial intelligence to close the gap between countries like Ghana and even the United States. It gives us the best opportunity to leapfrog that gap that's been created. And I believe that if we invest in these types of programs and in these students, they will grow, they will learn, they will create jobs using their entrepreneurial spirit, and that will cascade to all other industries, which hopefully will uplift Ghanaians and the standard of living for most.
Beneficiaries showed appreciation for the positive impact the ICT centers will exert on their educational experiences. Mary Boache is the headmistress of St. Jerome Senior High School.
With the provision of these HP machines, which are in advanced form, I believe is going to enhance the study of the elective ICT especially. I'm also expecting that these machines will go a long way to help us in our quest for academic excellence.
Reporting for Joy News, Clinton.
And we check out what's happening in Europe because anti-Semitism is on the rise in Germany. 29 anti-Semitic incidents are being recorded every day in the country, and there's been a marked increase since the war began between Israel and Hamas. Political correspondent Thomas Sparrow joins us now from Berlin. He's with our partners at DW on this. And Thomas, how big of a problem is this anti-Semitism in Germany, especially given Germany's own history?
Anti-Semitism has been a big problem in Germany for a very long time. It was already a big problem even before the war began between Israel and Hamas. But since the war began, the problem has become an even greater one, an even more sensitive one. This has to do, obviously, because of Germany's troubled history, but it also has to do with the debates that are going on here in German society since that war began between Israel and Hamas. And we've heard from different German officials stressed that the number of anti-Semitic incidents has increased very significantly since the war began. Incidents including attacks, including also damaging Jewish property. This is undoubtedly a very important problem, a very difficult challenges that authorities here have to deal with.
And I'm just wondering how politicians, for instance, are reacting. What's been done, actually, to tackle this problem?
One immediate decision that was taken by authorities is to increase protection of Jewish institutions, of Jewish buildings. A second element in Germany's strategy to tackle anti-Semitism is to ban groups that the German government considers may be spreading anti-Semitic propaganda. Then there's also the issue of awareness, of raising awareness among Germans, also among foreigners here in the country when it comes to the sensitivity of this problem, the difficulty of tackling anti-Semitism in the country. The German government has put in place a strategy to deal with this issue. But as I've stressed before, it is a very difficult problem and one that is not only important immediately now, but that is also important in the medium to long term as well.
And there's the question about, the German society. Let's talk about that as well.
People are also concerned about this rise in anti-Semitism. The rally that I attended at the weekend was not the first rally to deal with this issue, but it was significant because it had the support of many, many people in Germany, high-ranking politicians, including members of the federal government, including the president of the German parliament, also celebrities and former athletes. And although fewer people attended than maybe some expected, in part because the weather was not very good here in Berlin, it was an issue that people told me was very important to stress the need that Germany has to tackle this problem of anti-Semitism. This is, by the way, something that you also see in several polls that have been published since the war began between Israel and Hamas, that there is the specific need to tackle the issue of anti-Semitism, not only here in Berlin, but also in other parts of Germany as well.
Thomas Sparrow with our partners at DW, and that's all we have for you here in this package of the polls. I'm Blessed, so you can log on to myjoyonline.com. We have lots of updates on our stories for you. Thanks for your time. Next is Let's Talk Showbiz, but that will be after this break.